I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. During Senate floor remarks, Senator Sherrod Brown honored fallen law enforcement officials during Police Week. He touted his bipartisan legislation to increase mental health support and health care for first responders. The senator said, quote, "First responders wear their bodies out protecting our families and communities. They should have access to affordable health care." Here's more from the Ohio Democrat.
We honor during Police Week the law enforcement officials in our state who made the ultimate sacrifice. This year we'll add to the National Law Enforcement Memorial the names of 10 Ohioans who laid down their lives last year. Officer Brandon Stalker, Deputy Donald Gilreath III, Natural Resources Officer Jason Legore, Officer Scott Dawley, Deputy Sheriff Robert Craig Mills, Deputy Sheriff Wayne Blake, Corrections Lieutenant David Reynolds, Corrections Officer Joshua Christek, Patrolman Sean Van Denberg, and Officer Shane Bartek. Each of these losses is a tragedy for a family, for a community, for all of law enforcement officials in this country. We know in too many places right now the trust between law enforcement and the community is too often frayed or broken. These Ohio lives are a reminder of the ideals we strive for, women and men who are true public servants in the best senses of the word, people who give themselves to their communities, and these Ohioans gave so much. Let me mention each one briefly. Officer Brandon Stalker, 24-year-old father of 2 young children, devoted to his fiancée. His first partner, Officer Brent Kiefer, said he had a, quote, constant smile and unfailing sense of humor. He added that every single day when we went out on patrol, Brandon was all about trying to serve the community. He truly wanted to make the community a better place. That comes from his patrol colleague. Before joining the force, the Toledo native coached baseball at his former high school. Passionate about mentoring young players, he gave his life last January protecting his community. Officer Stalker, rest in peace. Natural Resources Officer Jason Legore was a Chillicothe native, devoted husband and father of 2 sons. Those who knew him talked about his love of his job and commitment to help people. When he joined the Department of Natural Resources in 2005, he persuaded his bosses to let him bring in and train Ranger, his first canine partner. Over the years, he grew the program, showing the department how successful canine teams could be, and the department now has canine units all across the state. Lieutenant Hoffer watched his friend build the program from the ground up, he said of Officer Legore. He did it all himself. We couldn't have had a better person. Patient, good, all-around person, good officer, knew what he was doing. Last February, Officer Legore and his canine partner, Sarge, were helping with a search operation at Rocky Fork State Park in Highland County, southwest of Columbus, when he suffered a heart attack and fell into the lake. He was 36 years old. Ohio Department of Natural Resources posthumously honored him with the Director's Award of Valor. Director Mertz said, because of his courage and bravery in the face of danger, there's no one more deserving of this honor. Rest in peace, Officer Legore. Officer Scott Dawley served his hometown of Nelsonville near Athens. Small, tight-knit community. His death last August in a 3-vehicle crash. Responding to a call was felled across town. One lifelong resident said of Officer Dawley, he loved this community, the community loved him back. The outpouring of grief and support was overwhelming. He had just gotten married in April, making a blended family of 9. He was a devoted father. He coached his son's baseball team. His wife, Marissa, said one of her happiest memories was watching her 9-year-old daughter give Officer Dawley a makeover, complete with finger and toenail polish. Officer Dawley, rest in peace. Officer Shane Bartek was 25 years old when he was killed during a carjacking on a West Side apartment not too far from my house on New Year's Eve, just 28 months after he joined the Cleveland Division of Police. His family said from a young age he always wanted to be an officer. His greatest aspiration was to become a detective. His twin sister Summer talked about how Officer Bartek loved to participate in the annual Shop with a Cop event during the holiday season, allowing a child who's been touched by law enforcement to buy and give Christmas presents to that family. One colleague said he would tell how much he wanted to touch other people's lives so he could actually make an impact, and he did that. Last year, we also lost 6 officers to COVID-19, and Officer Bartek, rest in peace. Last year, we also lost 6 officers to COVID-19, Deputy Gilreath, Deputy Sheriff Mills, Deputy Sheriff Blake, Corrections Lieutenant Reynolds, Corrections Officer Christek, Patrolman Vandenberg. Many of us were still social distancing from home. Police officers, like other essential workers, grocery store workers, nurses, technicians, food service people, all in the front lines of our community, all essential workers, even though many were not paid like it, risk their own health to keep our community safe. We can't begin to repay the debt we owe these officers and their families. We work to better support officers in the communities they swear an oath to protect. It's why I'm working with colleagues of both parties on legislation to support them as they do their jobs. I joined my colleague, Senator Grassley, to introduce the Fighting Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Act. It would increase mental health support for police, fire, emergency medical, and 9/11 personnel as they cope with the stress of responding to crisis situations. These Ohioans deal with some of the most tense and life-threatening situations in our communities: car accidents, fires, family disputes, people in mental health crises. So often our local police and fire departments don't have the resources to offer comprehensive mental health support. The Grassley-Brown bill will help us do that. I also introduced the Expanding Healthcare Options for Early Retirees Act, a bill that would allow retired police officers and other first responders to buy into Medicare beginning at age 50. Police officers, other first responders wear their bodies out protecting our families and communities. They should have access to affordable health care when their service comes to an end. The simple solution would ensure access to health care for police officers who are forced to retire but aren't yet eligible for Medicare. I'm working across the aisle with Senator Thune and others to fix outdated IRS rules that prevent public safety officers from making tax-free withdrawals from retirement accounts to cover health care premiums. We need to make sure police and fire can retire with dignity. Part of dignity of work is retiring with dignity. At the very least, that means they should be able to afford the health care they need. This Police Week, let's offer more than empty words. Let's honor the memories of these women, these men who laid down their lives in service of their communities by getting their fellow officers the tools they need, the training they need to do their jobs and to build trust with the communities they're sworn to protect.